Alright, so, I don't usually talk about drama or clan politics, but this situation between TSBCC and TSB Latam, well, it's been on my mind. I feel like I need to break it down because honestly, it's messy, and yeah, it's personal. This is about two huge clans in the community, TSBCC, which I'm sure most of you have heard of, and TSB Latam, a clan specifically for South America. Now here's the thing. TSBCC, led by Karma, banned TSB Latam. And let me tell you, this wasn't just a random ban. There's a whole story behind it, and it's one of those situations where everyone has their version of the truth. So let's go back to the beginning. Let me explain what happened and why things escalated to this point. It all started with an expose video. Apparently, two European players, along with someone named Ul, made a video targeting Karma, the owner of TSBCC. They laid out some accusations which, well, I won't get into the details here, but let's just say they weren't flattering. Now, this video made its way to Rick, the leader of TSB Latam. And Rick? He decided not to take action. He didn't ban the players who exposed Karma. Why? According to him, it wasn't his problem. It had nothing to do with TSB Latam. And honestly, I kind of get that. Rick didn't want to get involved in drama that didn't concern his clan directly. But here's the twist. Those same European players had apparently blacklisted TSB Latam members on TSBCC's side. So while Rick chose to ignore the expose, Karma saw this as betrayal. Karma wasn't happy. And you know, I can understand why. When you're running a clan, loyalty is everything. If another clan doesn't have your back, especially when things get messy, it feels personal. So, Karma made a decision. TSBCC blacklisted TSB Latam and all its representatives. Permanently, just like that. Now, from the outside looking in, this might seem like an overreaction. But for Karma, this was about trust. If Rick and TSB Latam weren't going to stand with TSBCC, then Karma wasn't going to stand with them either. But of course, TSB Latam had their own side of the story. So TSB Latam's leader Rick put out a statement. And honestly, it's pretty straightforward. He said, and I'm paraphrasing here, "Look, we didn't want to get involved in the expose. It wasn't about us. And yeah, we didn't ban the players who exposed Karma, but that doesn't mean we're against TSBCC." He also addressed some of the accusations that were flying around. Because let's be real, when things like this happen, people love to pile on. Suddenly, there were claims that TSB Latam's staff were doing some pretty serious things. Harassment, racism, doxing, you name it. But Rick was clear. He said none of it was true. He even invited people to come forward with proof if they had any. And you know what? That's a fair response. If you're going to accuse someone, you'd better have the receipts. Rick also made it clear that TSB Latam wasn't going to let this drama slow them down. He literally said, "We don't give a shit about TSBCC." Harsh? Yeah. But you can tell he's frustrated. From his perspective, they didn't do anything wrong. So why were they being blacklisted? All right, so here's where things get tricky. On one hand, I understand why Karma felt betrayed. When you're leading a clan like TSBCC, you expect the other big clans to have your back, or at least not stay neutral when you're being attacked. But on the other hand, I get where Rick is coming from too. He didn't want to escalate the situation. He didn't want to drag his clan into a fight that wasn't theirs. But here's the real issue. TSBCC is, quite frankly, worse than TSB Latam. Let me explain why. The core of this entire situation revolves around a video made by Kaito and Funks. A video that exposed Karma. Yes, it's an expose. And what did Karma do in response? He blacklisted TSB Latam because they didn't ban the people who exposed him. Let's be honest. Doesn't that sound incredibly petty? It's clear that TSBCC's staff needed a justification to ban TSB Latam, but they couldn't outright admit it was because of the expose. So they resorted to lying. Now they're taking it even further by threatening anyone in TSB Latam. They've given an ultimatum. Leave TSB Latam, or face being blacklisted too. They're accusing anyone who supports TSB Latam of being predators, going as far as claiming that TSB Latam has a history of leaking personal information. But here's the truth. None of that is true. It's all fabricated. The irony here is almost laughable. You'll soon see videos exposing Karma, Boomy, Ray, Lee, JJ, and the rest of Valhalla for things far worse than the accusations they're throwing at TSB Latam. And yes, that includes the very things they're falsely accusing TSB Latam of doing. Think about this for a second. Blacklisting an entire clan because they refused to ban the people who exposed you, and then accusing them of things that you're guilty of yourself. That's not just hypocritical, it's downright pathetic. Now I will show you some extra details about the situation.